Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Hi, folks. My name is Louis Baptista, and I'm here with United Way's BoSTEM Initiative. As you know, the BoSTEM Initiative provides access to our minority students in the Boston public school systems to kind of really explore what STEM is all about and hopefully be inspired to pursue a STEM career pathway. With our virtual opportunities, we have a great access for our students to kind of get connected to STEM professionals. And here today, we have a special guest who's here to talk about her career at an exciting hospital here that's locally in the Boston city called Beth Israel Medical Center. But for today's session, we're going to have a STEM bite. And what that means is a simple demonstration or a sneak peek into what this career pathway is like. What are some of the skills and what are some of the technology or tools that these STEM professionals use? So if you're focused in on the sciences, whether it be environmental sciences, health sciences, listen in closely because we are definitely in for a treat. Now, join me in welcoming our special guest, Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from and what you do at Beth Israel.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Louise, for that warm welcome. I'm super excited to be here and talk a little bit about my career and my experience working as a healthcare engineer at Beth Israel, because there are engineers that work in hospitals, something I didn't know when I was going through my undergraduate education. And so, super excited to share this unique career perspective that I have. A little bit about me: I graduated from Florida State University with a degree in industrial engineering and then got my master's from Northeastern University, which brought me up to the Boston area where I currently reside. And Beth Israel Medical Center is a hospital located in the Fenway area of Boston. And it's actually one of the largest hospital conglomerates in the state of Massachusetts. So it services about 800,000 patients annually and about 5,000 live births. So pretty large. And as you can imagine, with the COVID pandemic in the last 2 years, it's been a really fast moving, fast paced, and very evolving experience for me entering the team recently, especially as, a young woman in my career. I think there's lots of opportunities to learn and grow. I previously worked as a manufacturing engineer at a Frito-Lay chip factory. And so I think it's really important to know that you can pivot, and entering into a STEM field means that there's lots of different opportunities and there's always room to grow and try something out and see what you like best.
Super, super exciting. Hannah, I am so excited to kind of hear more about the work that you do at Beth Israel. So students, as we're hearing, we're getting a keen perspective into the work happening at Beth Israel, primarily the engineering focus in the healthcare field. So Hannah, walk us through what is your day-to-day like? What are some of the tools that you use? Please let us know what the excitement is all about.
Yes, so like many of the students probably watching this video, I grew up really interested in math and science, specifically biology, natural sciences, and medicine. And so when I was in college, I was kind of toying with the idea of going pre-med, and I was deciding between engineering and medicine. Right now, I feel like I have the best of both worlds because I really am working in a hospital, but doing the data and the scientific analyzation of a lot of our data coming into the hospitals and tracking the trends so that we can operate more efficiently. So what I'm doing right now is I am an engineer in our surgical department. So I'm working on streamlining our scheduling processes and also getting surgeries scheduled faster. And this is really important because one thing about engineering is I think it can seem very abstract for students entering the field, but going into STEM, I knew that I wanted to do something that I was passionate about and also contributing to the world and making a difference. And I really feel like I'm doing that here at Beth Israel because we have a large backlog of cancer patients that are wanting to get surgery scheduled, but have been limited in the past 2 years because of COVID. And as many of you know, COVID limited the access to healthcare because there was a lot of patients in the hospital due to COVID-19. So non-essential surgeries were canceled or restricted for the better part of 2 years. So I'm really helping the hospital get back up to speed and get those surgeries that have been on the back burner for the past 2 years scheduled. And this is really a win-win because not only is it good for the hospital and good for our revenue and our employees, but it's also good for the patient because if you're a patient who's been awaiting treatment for a long time, getting those surgeries scheduled as soon as possible is really important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can only imagine the urgency that happens with all of that. So having to have that critical eye or just perspective is really important. So, I'm sure that there are tools or technologies that help you work with, such large quantities of data or detail. How do you manage all that, Hannah?
Absolutely. I think something that is super important in engineering that maybe you wouldn't think about off the bat is the importance of communication skills and people skills. Really being able to come into a new environment and work with a diverse team who may not have an engineering or technical background. I'm working with doctors, nurses, our administrators to make the hospital function more effectively. And so it's really important that you can communicate yourself as an engineer, solve problems, and break down complex ideas into simple concepts. Another technology that I wanted to share is the single port robot, which is something that we use here at Beth Israel. And it's super exciting because it's actually robotic assisted technology, which is a relatively new development in healthcare, but it allows our surgeons to be very precise with their procedures. And as you can see here, the doctor is operating the robot through a joystick, and using his hand movements, he's actually controlling the robot. And this robot is called a single port or an SP robot. An SP and single port means that it enters the body through a single incision. And this is really good for the patient because there's one single incision. So it limits blood loss, any muscle damage, it limits scarring, and it leads to better patient outcomes. So the robot allows for our doctors to provide complex surgical care in a more simple and safe environment for the patient. And some surgeries that might be treated using the SP robot are tongue surgeries, some urological or kidney procedures, and also the treatments of a lot of cancers where you have to be very precise in the removal of tissue. So this is just one technology that we use here at Beth Israel. And another thing that I wanted to share that is a new development in healthcare and science is stem cells. And you might have heard a lot of buzz about stem cells. It's because they're really, really exciting. And stem cell research is an emerging field in healthcare and biomedical engineering because of the potential to treat many different kinds of diseases. We all have stem cells in our body, in our bone marrow, and stem cells are unique because they have the ability to grow into different sorts of cell. So you could think about it as a type of master cell that can grow and transform into bone, tissue, or organs and can really help the body fight diseases. So stem cells are useful for the treatment of leukemia, of certain cancers, of anemia, which is an iron deficiency that I actually suffer with. And a new study out just last week shows that stem cells can also be useful to treat diabetes. So this is a really evolving research area, especially in healthcare. And I think that's another thing that I love about working at Beth Israel and in the biomedical engineering space is that there is constantly new technology. And if you like a fast-paced environment or you want something where you're never sitting still and there's always things to learn, then healthcare engineering could really be for you.
Wow. Students, I hope that you were able to take some notes because there was a lot to take in. And I'm so excited that they had the opportunity to actually see the robot. So just a little bit of context, students, as we're hearing, technology is becoming ever more important. And so Hannah has a really important role where she's starting to understand how all these intricate details come together to make possibilities like OR scheduling really, really efficient. So Hannah, did you know that you were going to do this career early on? Let's say as a middle schooler or a high schooler? I know that you mentioned you had interest in science and math, but I mean, you can only imagine the possibilities for our young minds now. How could you share that experience of realizing that, oh my gosh, I have a career here. I can actually do this after school?
Yes, well, I think it's really important to have role models that you look up to who support you and support your education and your future career. So for me, that was my dad, and he worked in healthcare. He was a doctor. So growing up and really admiring him and having him, always believe in me was something that was really formative to me throughout my education. In addition to my family, who's always been supportive of me, I was actually connected to this career opportunity and the job posting at Beth Israel through a former professor at Northeastern. And so I think that just goes to show the importance of networking. And you're never too young to network, whether you're in elementary school, middle school, college, master's, or beyond. You could always meet a new friend or make a new connection, and you never know where that's going to lead you. So I would definitely encourage everyone watching to stay connected with people you've met in the past because they may be able to connect you to a future career opportunity.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. And such a nice way to segue us into our transition of our ending. Hannah, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to share this exciting career pathway with our students. Students, I hope that you were able to take away some value. Like I said, it is not often that we have an opportunity to hear from folks at local hospitals. So thank you again, Hannah, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. Students, if you are looking to get more connected into the work happening at Beth Israel, or just want to hear more about Hannah's story, or want to just ask more questions, feel free to share that with your educator. They have my contact information. I can look folks up with you and Hannah offline if that is a possibility or a desire of yours. But we are here at the end of our session. Just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. As you know, our sessions will continue on for the remainder of the school year. So look out for our future sessions. So excited to have you join us. Thank you again, Hannah, for taking the time to volunteer, and so excited to have you. Any last words for our students before we sign off?
Thank you so much. Just believe in yourself and work hard. Engineering sometimes can be difficult coursework, but you'll get through it and have that growth mindset to know that you can learn anything if you keep your head down and work hard.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye now.